Not that long ago, the Detroit Lions made the move to sign Jake Bates from UFL Michigan Panthers to a contract. But now they have just made a concurrent move that now brings more focus on what potentially might happen with the kicking position for the Lions this year. We're going to talk about it in this episode, folks. Stay tuned.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5 end zone touchdown Detroit Lion.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions fans. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM, Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike. And as always, we're diving on in. So, I just wanted to make a quick midday episode because this news literally just came out. And by the time I released the video, it'll have been out for maybe about an hour or so. But anyway, as we all know, the Detroit Lions literally just announced, I think it was a day or two ago, that they were signing kicking phenom out of the UFL from the Michigan Panthers, Jake Bates, to a contract. That contract, when it was first announced, was just going to be a 2-year deal. We didn't know the specifics just yet. However, though, Adam Schefter earlier today officially released what was going to be the details of the contract, which, if I recall correctly, don't quote me as 100% on this, but I'm going to put the picture up anyway because it's on Twitter. I believe it's a 2-year contract for $1.98 million total salary with $150,000 of it guaranteed and a $100,000 signing bonus. Now, I thought initially when I made my video about the whole announcement that he was being signed that, hey, you know what? He was going to come in, he was going to compete with the other two kickers. And you can literally go back to the episode where I referenced that. It's not that far back, but I'll put the episode back up at the top just for you guys' perusal. I thought that they were going to bring in Jake Bates. He was going to compete with James Turner, who's the UDFA kicker out of Michigan, and Michael Badgley. However, though, no sooner had the Lions officially released what the contract details were and actually officially put pen to paper with Jake Bates, now the Lions, in a concurrent move, just announced that they are releasing kicker James Turner. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. While I thought, and again, I'm going to put heavy emphasis on that, while I thought that the Lions were going to have all three kickers going into camp to amplify the competition between the three to see who would be the best possible candidate for the job, the move to cut Turner is not at all surprising. And the reason why I'm going to say this is because you have to take a look, first and foremost, I guess the best way to put it is what each person brings to the job as far as experience, as far as their background, everything else. And then you have to take a look at the contracts that they had. Because again, I hate to say it, everybody knows it's the truth, but the NFL is all about money. That is unfortunate, but that's the truth. In the NFL, the money is going to tell you where somebody is going to be playing, how much they're going to be playing, what they're going to be doing, unless it's an extreme circumstance. Why am I driving at this point? Well, first and foremost, let's just think about this from the perspective of all the types of kickers that we had. We had James Turner, who we just cut. We now have Jake Bates in camp, and we have Michael Badgley. Well, when you take a look at all three of those guys, after just signing Jake Bates, it's like, listen, you could have had a three-way competition for the kicking job. But unfortunately, there's only so many reps you're going to be able to get in practice between the kickers because you can't focus primarily on special teams. You also have to focus on freaking defense, offense. You have to focus on scheme, sets, everything else. Blah, 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 blah. So it's like, listen, if you're trying to have a kicking competition, your best bet would be to have two kickers in camp. Well, sorry to put it so bluntly, but James Turner was coming as a UDFA out of U of M. And also, to put it more bluntly, James Turner's track record of actual official statistics while he was at U of M, and even the college before that, I don't even remember who he played for before U of M, but I know he did play for somebody else. The point of the matter is, in the entire time that he was in college, he never officially recorded a kick past 50 yards. I know we've heard practice reports that said he did, but again, that's not the same thing as actually being in a game when the pressure is on. So it's like, okay, James Turner, UDFA, doesn't have a real good track record from college. That's not going to bode very well for him. Plus, on top of that, James Turner's contract with the Detroit Lions, like I'd already mentioned before, was a 1-year deal. But when you take a look at that 1-year deal, he had the least amount of security out of all the kickers that were on the roster. His contract was only for $800,000 with $2,500 guaranteed. That was it. Pretty much what the Lions are saying is, we're going to give you a shot, but yeah, you're pretty much expendable. Now you take a look at Michael Badgley. Michael Badgley has been kicking with the Lions on 2 separate occasions. He's the incumbent from last year. He was the guy that the Lions had in the playoffs. He's also got plenty of experience in the NFL. I think he's like a 6-7 year pro as far as a kicker is concerned. So as far as that's concerned, the Lions are not just going to give up on Michael Badgley because, hey, he's the most veteran guy that they have, and they obviously have some comfort level with him because he's been with them for quite a while. They actually brought him back twice. So it's like, okay, you have that. But the thing with Michael Badgley is also his situation's a little bit kind of like James Turner. Not entirely the same, but it's kind of similar. Michael Badgley only has a 1-year deal, and that 1-year deal is like for $1.15 million contract, $1.5 million whatever. And that's not a lot of money. Now, granted, kickers themselves don't make a lot of money in principle, but you're talking about a 1-year deal, which in essence is a $1 million contract. And of that $1 million contract, about half of it's guaranteed, but it's still only $425,000. That's still not a lot of money. That's chump change to a franchise. So now we get to Jake Bates. Again, we know the Lions signed him to a 2-year deal, which means the Lions are at least looking, they're at least giving the impression, they're at least signaling the intention that they want to hang on to Jake Bates longer than potentially for 1 year. But then on top of that, they also have pretty much already sunk into Jake Bates $250,000. Think about it. They gave Jake Bates a $100,000 signing bonus. That is cash money that is handed out right away. That's the way so the cap works for the Lions. So the Lions have already given Jake Bates $100,000 right out the gate. But then on top of that, they're also guaranteeing $150,000 of that contract in the case of him being released. So the Lions are already on the hook with Jake Bates for $250,000. Now again, that's not as much as the $425,000 that Michael Badgley has. But the point of the matter is, Jake Bates has a 2-year contract. Michael Badgley only has a 1-year contract. My whole point is this. I fully expect that there is going to be a full-blown kicking competition between Jake Bates and Michael Badgley. Now, why does that sound very good for some Lions fans? The reason why is because, again, there are a lot of Lions fans that, again, like I said, when freaking Jake Bates was kicking for the Panthers at Ford Field in the UFL, they got instantly excited seeing this guy having a booming leg, being able to kick field goals from 60-plus yards out. That got fans really excited. And the one thing that a lot of those fans have a problem with Michael Badgley about is that he is inconsistent. I'm not saying that he can't, but he is inconsistent in his ability to kick from 50 yards out. Because, okay, he was able to do it somewhat well last year, but we've seen Michael Badgley now kick from 50 yards out a couple of times. He's not nearly as consistent as a lot of fans would like him to be. So it's like, okay, you've now got a guy in Bates who can kick the ball long and very, very long. Again, 50 yards out, that's long. But if you can do it consistently from 60, now you're in some special territory. Now you're in, like I said, you are in Justin Tucker territory. Because Justin Tucker's longest is 66. Bates in freaking UFL was 64. So you're talking about a very special type of kicker there. So for Michael Badgley, I guarantee you this, the reason why he's getting a shot is because, one, like I said, he is the incumbent. But also, two, he's the veteran. So it's like, hey, if nothing else, you already know what you have in Michael Badgley. You already have a proven product at least there, and a product that you are at least for the most part, at least what the Lions are trying to say, they are somewhat comfortable with. But again, as we know with Brad Holmes, he is always trying to find ways to improve the roster. Well, obviously signing Jake Bates and then cutting James Turner, that tells me right off the bat that pretty much what Brad Holmes is trying to say is, listen, we want the best kicker possible to win the job between Badgley and Bates. And let's put it for what it is. The only thing Badgley really has is, like I said, is that he has the experience with the team and he's the veteran. He doesn't have the contract length. He doesn't even have the contract amount of total money. The only thing he really has is that he's got a little bit more guaranteed money than freaking Bates does. But Bates has the stronger leg. He's got the social media backing, like the fans that back him. Plus, on top of that, you have to just think about it as well. Bates is younger. Now, I'm not saying that, Michael Badgley's old, but Badgley's now getting almost up into the 30 range. Granted, kickers can stay around for a long-ass time, pardon my language, but they can be up there until their 40s. But think about it. Let's just play the hypothetical game here. Let's just say Bates wins the job and he becomes the next long-term kicker for the Detroit Lions. At 24 years old, you could, in theory, have Jake Bates for up to 16 years before you'd have to even think about another kicker. And if Jake Bates is able to kick 60 yards out from right now, he should be able to do that easily for the next 10, 12 years before his range really starts diminishing. My whole point is this. The Lions are clearly signaling their intention that, one, they want a full-blown 1v1 competition between the kickers of Badgley and Bates. But the other thing they're signaling is that they have a lot of damn confidence in Bates, and they really want him to have a good, solid shot to win the job. Otherwise, they wouldn't have handed him a 2-year contract. Otherwise, they wouldn't be already on the hook for him for $250,000 for a guy that has no NFL experience. Otherwise, they wouldn't have already cut a guy that they had in camp, that they had already had time and seen what he could do. Again, the Lions are showing a lot of confidence and a lot of trust in Bates by making the moves and making the decisions that they already have. So I'm telling you this right now. When we get back into training camp, one of the battles, one of the position wars you definitely need to pay attention to is who is doing the best when it comes to kicking. Because I guarantee you this, there is going to come a moment in the season, whoever the kicker is going to be, that we're going to rely on that kicker to win a game. And it might come down at the most crucial time. And you have to ask yourself, who do you realistically want being the kicker? Do you want Michael Badgley or do you want Jake Bates? We're going to see obviously who's the best one to handle that pressure. But for me, it's like, hey, I know Jake Bates can kick from long range. We just need to see if he can do it under the NFL pressure. With Michael Badgley, it's a little bit different. He's been able to handle NFL pressure, but his consistency long range-wise is not the greatest. So, it's definitely going to be interesting come training camp to see who wins this battle, because that is exactly what the Lions are shaping up right now. They are shaping up a full-on kicking competition come training camp. But anyway, I just wanted to make this quick episode, push it out. I've got another episode I'll be releasing probably around 3:30, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so you guys are going to get 2 episodes today. But having said all that, I'm going to end the episode and say thank you all for watching yet another one of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do one of these 3 things. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If by chance you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, or you just subscribed and you not had a chance to do so, again, highly encourage y'all to subscribe. But I also encourage y'all please to do one of these 3 things. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I also want to encourage y'all please to do this. Please, 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 please. After you subscribe, make sure you also hit that bell notification icon at the bottom of the page as well. Again, we need to get more people turning on that bell notification icon so that way as soon as I push something out, you guys can come right back to the channel. Again, more people that are watching my content right now are unsubscribed than they are subscribed, which tells me that a lot of my subscribers have not turned on that notification icon. So let's get that number up, folks. Also encourage y'all to share this content with your Lions friends and family members. Share it here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you can. I don't care where you share it. The greater the reach is going to result from sharing it, and it's going to allow the channel to spread. And with that being said, I hope everyone's having a great day. I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all got something that makes you happy, makes you smile. God bless, and until the next time we meet, I'll see y'all in the next episode.